what this does is when I play, that's just the 8-foot by itself. If I put the coupler on, it'll play this note plus something, an octave and a root above, or 2 octaves and a root above. So harmoniums would have a mechanical coupler, so that you'd play C and you'd play C, it would bring the other note down for you by itself. This does it electronically, and you've got another one which probably means something to people from a different music system than us, but it doesn't sound a good combination to me. And the lower manual's got them as well, but different ones. They've got 2 2/3. The upper manual has that. A 2, which is basically 2 octaves above. So if I play 8 foot by itself, put the 2-foot coupler on, doesn't sound very obvious. I'll try that again. So that's time with those voices on. No coupler. It's playing an octave above, and there's a 1 3/5 as well. Interesting. I don't really use it much on the lower manual. On the upper manual it can help for when you've got things like these which only have one, there's only one oboe, there's one brass and there's 2 strings. It allows you to sort of pretend you've got more voices simply by playing more keys at the same time. There's a bunch of registration settings. Now these ones, it's the sort of thing that really interested me with the organ, but then I haven't used much since I got it. First of all, there's a church organ preset which just selects some tones for the and the pedals, selects a whole bunch of voices. It's supposed to sound like a church organ. And there's a so-called big band which does some of bits of this and bits of that and bits of this. I've never really used those much because I don't quite like them, but there are 4 settings here that you can program yourself. What happens is you can set a bunch of voices on all of these switches up here and those ones up there, and it'll, when I hit record and the one I want to store it into, that button that memory will remember all those settings. Now I can change to some other ones and put that in the second one, and so change all the settings in one go. Unlike a Wurlitzer though, this is all done electronically. None of these controls change position when you change your settings. On a Wurlitzer you change your registration, they all click up and down by themselves by magnets. You can see what settings you have and you can change them. So you might want to flip 1 or 2 flutes on and off in the middle of playing and it'll let you do that. This you can't. As soon as that's on, it's taken control. None of these controls will have any effect until you cancel it. You can cancel it with that, or by going to something else over here, it'll take over. Over here is the rhythm section, which is automated drums. There's a bank of buttons for preset patterns and some variations you can change. So if I've got rock selected, rock 1, that has some basic, 4 different things you can do to vary what that rhythm sounds like. And some truly awful fill-ins. I used to have another Technics organ before this, a little keyboard, had very nice fill-ins. This one's terrible. If I put on, say, swing, get rid of all that. I don't think they sound nice at all, and you can use them as fill-ins or intros. You push the button down before the rhythm started and start the rhythm. It'll start off with that as an intro, then go back to playing the rhythm normally. Now I just muffed it. I just press again. Very dull intro, just for sort of rim shots or drums clicks. I think from memory this actually had PCM sound recordings of instruments rather than just making filtered white noise. You had the basic sort of rhythms that most organs have: rock, swing, march, waltz, and a bunch of Latin stuff. Now the samba and the disco all sound like double tempo to me. If I start the thing going, rock, rumba, which is a generic Latin, mambo, another Latin, samba. Seems to be double tempo to me, same as a disco. Now, I've already mentioned you can add a little variation, or you can change to a variation pattern and add some sort of extra bits on top of it depending what the rhythm is. They're all preset. You've got some balance control of tempo, balance, and volume. Well, volume is obvious. Balance was, see these little instrument diagrams here? You could make the cymbals and cowbells volume different from the bass, snare, rim shot. You could balance one against the other. Though oddly, if I push the balance up that way, those ones became louder. If I push the balance down that way, the ones at the top row became louder. I thought that was really stupid, so I've pulled it apart and reversed the way that control works. You've also got a little sequencer, and you can record a drum pattern. So you can, maybe you want to do rock 1 for 8 bars and then rock 2 for 8 bars, and have it automatically do that for you, and it will. I don't remember how many bars it can memorize, it's only a short amount of memory. But the best part of this was these record buttons here. These two, I can program my own rock rhythm or whatever rhythm I want into them using these instrument voices here. So if I hit the record button, choose pattern 1, as the composer it's going to store my settings in that one. Then what I do is say hit bass drum, and see these numbers on the lower manual. They're divisions of the rock. So if I want the bass to go on, let's go 1, 7, 9, start it going. You get the basic rock beat. Now if I put a rim shot on 5 and 13, now those are sort of, what are they coordinates? Well, it's a basic 4/4 rhythm unit divided into 16ths. So I start that playing. Now I've got a very, very basic rock. I can actually do that while it's playing, but then I don't know how well the microphone will work while I'm talking. Now if I want to add something to that, let's turn it into what organists will call a 16-beat rock by bashing cymbals 8 times in a 4/4 beat. So I don't know why this is called 16-beat rock, and if I want to cheat, I'll get it to add all 3 cymbals at the same time by pressing all 3 down, and I would go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Start it going. That's what an organist would call a 16-beat rock rhythm, despite the fact the cymbals are only striking 8 times for a bar. I've never quite understood why it's not called 8-beat rock. And you know, so there's cowbells and whatever you can add to that. Some of these things like the bongos, it's not just because it's a dual instrument, it's a pattern rather than just a plop. It's a pattern of one and the other. There's a hand clap, cowbell, another type of bell which I cannot think of the life for me what it's called, Sabeza is it? Maracas. If I start it going, and let's put in some cowbell on 1, 5, 9, 13, which sounds a bit silly. Put a hand clap on 5, 13, let's put a snare drum on 1, 9, and pretty soon we're getting horrible sounding rhythms, but that's how it works. And there's 2 of those, so you can set up 2 presets. Now normally this organ would memorize your settings and keep them for a few days or a week by charging a capacitor inside the memory from the mains. That memory's sort of gone cactus and now it doesn't survive being turned off for a few minutes. There's another little thing attached to the rhythm unit over here, and there's a little arpeggiator. And if I put on a rock rhythm, turn that on, so it just arpeggiates a pretend harp or string in 2 patterns and double tempo button. I've never liked that, it just doesn't sound very good. There's also up here some other rhythm units which are okay. If I put on guitar, start it going, actually I'll turn the volume up so it's more obvious. Banjo. And a piano. And all 3 of them. Which, not too bad, but I've sort of maybe used one and turn it really low. So it just sounds like something's joining in with the rhythm but not being over-dominating. We've got some controls for how long the sustain lasts for on the upper keyboard, the lower keyboard, or the pedal. There's also affects percussive voices. So if I play the pedal and let go, if I put on and I change that, it becomes very stunted. That'll only work in a room with natural reverb. I'm in a small room, sounds awful. If I put on a percussive voice as well, it also affects the decay of the percussive voices. The percussive presets, that's the sustain for them little fellas up there again, so they can have longer, short sustain. They're all very short on this organ. It's only got 8 note polyphony, so it can only play 8 notes at the same time. If you try and hit a 9th one, the lowest one down will disappear because it only play 8 notes at once. If you do a keyboard slide with a sustain on, only the last 8 notes will play, and if you had a long sustain you'd hear them clicking off as it runs out of tone generators. Their solution, make it a very short sustain. There is a spring reverb in here, or there's 2 little springs, they're about yay big. Doesn't sound very good, but it sounds better in a flat room. If I it's just a volume control for the effect. And tremolo speed, so I can do traditional tremolo, slightly too fast, or more like a church organ tremolo. Most church organs don't have a tremolo, but sometimes they have it, and it always sounds slow. Somewhere there sounds good. And like a Leslie, it pretends to be, the speed changes take time rather than happen instantly. So it ramps up and down. Over here we have another little computing little bit. It's got a couple of memories where you can program a sequence of chords. It'll play them along with the rhythms, so you could do a three-handed piece by yourself. Just set it to play chords for in half measures or full measures for as long as you want them to play. That's those things there. It can, well, if I go up here, you can, that's record and recall, to do with recording and recalling the chord you put in. One finger chords. If I hit one finger on the lower manual, C, B flat, and it'll play the chord and the bass. If I put fingered chords, I play the chord I want, and it'll play the bass that goes with it. And there's a memory button that means you can take your hand away. There's a thing called Technics U90, and what that does here is whatever chords I play down here get duplicated to whatever note I play in the upper manual. So if let's get it to hold a C chord, play a G chord, it's playing, as I play a note on the upper manual, it's playing that chord on the upper manual below the note I'm playing, which, you know, an organist doesn't really quite do that way. I mean, if we play chords under the melody, playing the melody with the last two fingers on here and chords below, we tend to